So Dodge said it's been too long since your boy Tall Guy been in a Hellcat, so they decided to send me the brand new 2025 Durango SRT Hellcat. You know the Hellcat and I, we synonymous with each other. We just ain't been with each other in a long time. So I'm gonna tell y'all what it's like living with this joint again in 2025 after all these years. The good, the bad, and of course, everything in between. Let's get to it. Let's keep it a stack, cause your boy Tall Guy is back in the Hellkeezy fo sheezy. It's been a long time since I said those words. But to be fair, it's also been a long time since your boy been back in the Hellcat. Let's just keep it a buck. If you know me, you probably know me for making some form of content creation around the Hellcat, whether it was my skinny OG Hellcat, skinny body mook, or the wide body Hellcat red eye I had, or maybe even my Ram TRX, or maybe even my super stock red eye, or it could even be my Jeep Trackhawk. Or maybe you probably know me for a million videos getting pulled over for excessive speeding, whether it was in my McLaren or it was in my Lamborghini Aventador, or maybe even my wife's Lamborghini Urus, because I got many speeding tickets in that too. But either way it goes, you know me for doing some form of content creation around cars or Hellcats or speeding. And it's been almost 10 years that I've been making content on YouTube, which is crazy. It makes me feel like a super old, dusty geezer, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I feel a little youthful getting back in the Hellcat because it brings back so many nostalgia type vibes and memories, man. Drop some comments below. I wanna know y'all thoughts, man. What are your favorite memories with me and the Hellcat specifically? Because when I think about a Hellcat, I got too many historical moments that come to mind.
Yep, you lied.
Boom, there was my Hellcat, man. Look at this, man. I would have never, in my wildest dreams, thought that I would have a second Hellcat. Now, if you don't really truly know me, but you've run across a few of my popular videos, but never really got the full context of my life, my love for Dodge, and specifically the Dodge Challenger, happened when I was in prison. I was in Stillwater Correctional Facility. It's a maximum prison in Minnesota. And I was in my cell watching Sucker Free Sunday, and a music video dropped that I'd never seen before by Wiz Khalifa. And it was called Black and Yellow. And how he was acting dumb in the car, black and yellow, black and yellow. I said, man, that was the song that originally made me love the Challenger. I didn't even know what it was called. I didn't even know it was called a Challenger. Or any of that. I didn't know the difference between trim levels, RT, Scat Pack. There wasn't even a Hellcat back then. And I just knew I wanted that exact car that he had in that video. When I come home, I'm gonna get that car. But then there was another music video that came on Sucker Free Sunday that I really liked, that reassured me that I really loved the Challenger. And I didn't even know it was called a Challenger at that time, by Young LA, called Futuristic Love. And I would be in my cell banging that joint, be on lockdown. I mean, I be like, I gotta get out. I'd be playing Drop Off in my head. That's a game that every inmate plays back home in Minnesota, maybe universally across every prison. And it's pretty much a game where you manifest things in your head, because you gotta have some form of positivity and optimism in your thoughts, because that's your escape, because you're living on hell on earth in prison, and you don't wanna lose your mind in there because it ain't gonna do you no good. So you gotta stay optimistic, you gotta stay positive, you gotta be able to smile through all the bullshit, and you gotta just think about the future, because your present is all fucked up. And that for me was one of my many escapes, and that's where my love for Mopar truly started. Now, if you do really know me, then you know I didn't have your typical childhood upbringing with sunshines and rainbows and white picket fences with your parents teaching you the game. In fact, I had the opposite. My dad was a crackhead, physically abusive to me. I mean, so much to the point where I couldn't go to school for weeks on end. Child Protective Services was called. They tried to take us away. I even lived in a group home at one point in time in my life. And on top of that, he was a narcissist. So you can imagine the mental illness that he was truly dealing with, that he still lives with in delusion today. And on my mom's side, great heart, amazing person. But at the same time, she's getting physically abused by every single man she's pretty much talking to at that point. And I witnessed that firsthand as well. So you can only imagine what was going on in my brain mentally, and the stuff that I was dealing with, and the demons that I was walking around with. So it naturally made me want to rebel. I mean, to the point where I'm running away, I'm selling drugs, I'm robbing, I'm burglarizing, I'm doing all these different things, because I didn't really know how to talk about my feelings. I didn't know how to do any of these things. And in my world and in my environment, in the hood in which where I'm from, you dealt with those things by burying it under trying to get some money. I didn't have, in short, what I'm trying to tell y'all, the perfectly paved road to follow with the exact blueprint that's gonna lead me to a space where I would believe I would have ever owned a house in LA, owned Lamborghinis, McLarens, Hellcats, TRXs, Jeep Trackhawks, any of the above, or anything else that I'm forgetting that I've owned in that time. In fact, it was the complete opposite. My goal level was only as high as my environment. As sad as that sounds, I really didn't even probably set my first goal in like a goal, probably till I went to prison, to be honest, you know? And that's why I say, like, sometimes when times are bad, you think it's the end of the world, but that could be the thing that's saving your world, that's saving your life. That's why God is putting you through it, because sometimes God's gonna go through some extreme measures and put them on you to make you get some extreme points across to really resonate with you. And that's what prison was for me. It saved my life. That's why I tell people, like, if you're in a bad space, don't let your current circumstances define your future circumstances, because sometimes the devil will trick you into thinking that just because, you know, things feel bad, that everything in life is all bad, when in fact it's not. And if you make a decision based off of your temporary circumstances that God is putting you through to build you up to receive your ultimate blessings, you'll trick yourself out of position. You know what I mean? You'll throw yourself out of the mix by simply just thinking that temporary thing is your forever thing. So it's like, it's not worth it, man. And I would tell that to any kids or anybody that's doing it right now, stop it. And if you're thinking about doing it, don't. Because at the end of the day, you know, you have to live with the stuff that you did in your teens, in your 20s, in the 20s, in your 30s, the 30s, in the 40s, and so on and so on. So it can become a brutal game. And I mean, I'm still dealing with that to this day with the real estate. And when I tried to do that, and when I try to do the commercial driver license and everything like that stuff really sits with you. Like all those speeding tickets I got, yeah, it was fun in games while y'all watching it on the video, it entertained y'all, but that stopped me from being able to get a job doing semi-driving. With real estate, like the stuff I did 16, 17, 18 years old, is still stopping me at 36 years old to be able to get my real estate license, which I passed 2 years ago. I'm still dealing with that. So as much as it might be like, oh man, look at the rag, all this other stuff, it's like, I'm still dealing with those things. I just don't talk about them as profusely as I go through them. In short, you know what I mean? And on the outside looking in, that's why I always say, be careful judging a book by its cover, because at the end of the day, I don't look like what I've been through. You know what I mean? And I done been through some shit. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have the mindset that I got. I'm grateful to have evolved the way that God let me evolve and gave me the space to do so, and gave me the people to do so, the team that he's given me. You know, I couldn't be more grateful for it, because I couldn't have done it without him. Just know and understand that at the end of the day, whatever you do today, you will have to live with tomorrow. So in short, for the people that really been rocking with me, man, I'm rocking with y'all. And I thank y'all very much for not switching up on me like a lot of people that I thought were friends or family, because if they could do that to me, I wouldn't even take it personal if y'all did that to me. But the fact that y'all did, man, I appreciate that. And it would have been very easy to do that while I was trying to transition and figure and test different things out, like going to get my real estate license or doing the commercial driver license and trying to drive the semis, you know, because it wasn't conducive to what I had already been putting out. So I would have fully understood it, you know, but y'all didn't. And now I'm doing a new venture, and my wife, my manager, and I, we came up with our own car wash products. And y'all know my name is Corey Barrett. I know y'all might know me as Tall Guy, but my real name is Corey Barrett, and it's called Barrett's Automotive Car Wash Products, man. Link is in the description below. Make sure you check it out, because I'm very excited about this venture. Over the last year and a half, almost 2 years, we have been trying to perfect the perfect batch of car wash products, because y'all know ever since I rebranded and I've been doing these high production car reviews and what it's like living with, these cars got to be exceptionally clean, right? For these kind of shots. And you name it, I've used it as far as car wash products. And some brands be having a good soap, some be having a good tire shine, some have a good interior shine, some got a good interior cleaner, some got a good wax. But I've come to find out that it's very rare to see a one-stop shop for all products made equal and legendary of top tier quality and status and product. So ultimately we came out with our own. And it's took almost 2 years to come up with this batch. We got tire shine, we got interior cleaner, we got a foamtastic wax, we got a car wash sensational shampoo, and we got so much more to come. And I was excited to bring this announcement to y'all because I feel like it is aligned perfectly with my brand, because if you've been watching me for a long time, you know I used to just make vlogs and wash my car, putting tire shine and vlog at the same time, washing and waxing my car and drying it and talking to y'all at the same time while vlogging, right? So that's always something I take pride in washing cars by myself. It was only right that we came out with our own car wash products that's top tier in status, big top of the MOOC products, man. And I believe y'all will love them just as much as I love them, and I can stand on these with all 10 toes firm, knowing that y'all will love these products. I can stand by it with full confidence, man. And I can't wait for y'all to try them, and I hope that y'all support them and rock with them. But if you can't support them and rock with them right now, because I know everybody's financial situations are different, maybe you can in the future, but if you can at all, and the only way you can support me is by watching these videos, that's more than enough. And I appreciate y'all and I love y'all for it. But I just wanted to mention to y'all that we got the products, baby. It's been a long time coming, and y'all know I'm not one to count my eggs before they hatch, so I never want to mention or even give a little sliver or a hint to it that that's what we were doing, because I've never seen an automotive influencer come out with their own car wash products. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen it, and I think I pretty much watched everybody in the automotive space at some point in time throughout my tenure of watching YouTube when I was in college. But at the same time, I also want to fill a void that I believe has been missing in the game as far as top tier quality products. I didn't want to just do it from the automotive space as a money grab to come up with some products to get some money. No, I wanted to really come up with a good product that I could use every single day when cleaning all these cars that I have in repetition, right? In consistency, right? And I would love for y'all to support it and try it out and give me your thoughts as well. You know, the link is below in the description. We got the website, we got the Instagram, we got everything, man. Make sure y'all tap in. But without further ado, let's get back to this car, because I have used all the products on this car. For now, let's get to the car, man. Let's talk about my first like. And it's gonna have to be this key fob. It's not that it's the most special key fob in the world, but it's just the nostalgia for me. Y'all get the point, man. I love this key fob. It's top tier, man. My next like is gonna be the fact that you can open and close the trunk from the key fob in this SUV, but you can also do it from pressing a button right there on the top of your roof. These seats look so top tier, but they look even better when you put some of that Barrett's Automotive pristine leather conditioner on that thing, man. Click that link below in the description and get with it right now. You dig? Now the next one is a love. I don't even think it's a like, it's a love, baby. I say that as I rub the scalp. It's a love, baby. Ooh, it's a love. It's the cold start. When you first walk out to your Hellcat, you get that cold start. Joint just sound top tier, man. Music to my ears. The performance in this SUV is top of the MOOC, man. We got a 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. What's not to like about that? The infotainment screen. I don't know what's not to like about this joint, because it looks good, has a modern design, some color to it. And on top of that, it's always been intuitive and easy to use. I might be being biased because I got so much experience with Mopar and Hellcats in particular that I've just always loved that setup. Their digital gauge cluster along with their infotainment screen. Although I do think that digital gauge cluster is getting close to getting outdated. It's about a hair away. So they gotta start doing something with that. But all in all, I've always loved the digital gauge cluster and the infotainment screen. One thing I just always wished that they had in the Hellcats was more better ambient lighting. And I'm not talking about just LED light cup holders, because they got that in the front and in the rear for the rear seat passengers in this SUV. But I'm talking about real ambient lighting, because the Camaro ZL1 was always the competitor with the Hellcat, right? And I always liked the ambient lighting that the Camaros had. It was just way better, obviously, and way more luxurious feeling in there. It just, you know, I just like ambient lighting. I don't know if that's just me, or if y'all love Hellcats, tell me, did you ever want your Hellcat to have ambient lighting? But another thing that I always wish that Mopar had, especially in particular Hellcats, was a heads-up display. Because like I said, I compare the Hellcat to the Camaro ZL1, even though they're two totally different types of muscle, it's like they're still competitors nonetheless, and they had the heads-up display and ambient lighting. So I was like, why did Dodge just never put heads-up display and ambient lighting in the car? And it would have off-rip been better than the Camaro to me, because it was already better than the Camaro to me. So that's just always what I thought. Another thing that I like is the fact that you can be in a third-row SUV, have all this practicality, all this understanding, while also still having 200 miles on the dash. That's crazy. That don't even count the 3.5 0-60, man. I already talked about that now. 200 miles on a dash in a third row SUV. What's not to like about that? So I have to acknowledge when a car or SUV has real memory seats. And when I mean real, I mean all you gotta do is press the button and the seats do the rest. Those are real memory seats, and this got it. But there's a caveat. It's only for the driver, not the front seat passenger, which I do wish they had. Now, my next thing is gonna be the wireless car charger. I really like that Dodge put the Great Wall of China in there to keep your phone encompassed in place, locked in place, because with all this horsepower, with over 700 horses, that joint gotta have a real sturdy wireless car charger, because it'd be flying all around the interior cabin space in this SUV. But this one stays locked in place, because I've been doing some real Hellcat type stuff in this joint, and it literally stays locked in place all the time. I'm 6'10" for those who don't know. And in the third row of this SUV, I got good leg room. Now, I'm not stretching out and laying down in no bed or nothing like that, but I can literally squeeze my hand in between the seat and my knee. And I'm comfortable back there, even with headroom and leg room. Headroom's it's getting close to getting tight, but I can sit upright back there and still be comfortable with my legs. Like, I can sit back there for a good little short distance for sure. If this is me at 6'10", just imagine your kids or teenagers or, you know, even adults that are more average sized human beings. They can really sit back there easy peasy, no problem. But I do think the reason why that happens is because the second row seat is tighter, because you can't adjust the seat to slide forward or backwards. You can only recline the second row seat. So I think that being set to where you can't slide it forward or backwards gave the third row more leg room, if that makes sense. I got more leg room in the third row of this SUV than I do in the second row, with my driver's seat set for me, with me obviously driving, because that's the real test. Because in the second row behind me, I can barely even shut the door. I can't even open the door handle without hitting my knee and reconfiguring and adjusting my entire body just to be able to get out the car. With the third row though, to get back to that, because that's the sweet spot with this SUV, is I can get in and out of this SUV into the third row comfortably. This is probably the best third row SUV I could get in and out of, the easiest, without feeling like I gotta be acrobatic type person or feeling like I'm gonna tear my hamstring or quad getting in or out the third row SUV. So I thought that was a big deal too. Now, although the third row doesn't have a center armrest like the one that's in the second row or the one that I'm currently on in the front seats, right? You can utilize that second row armrest by simply pressing a button, and that center armrest will do a front flip type, cartwheel style type, and you can use all the storage space in there along with the chargers. You do have armrests in the third row that's on the side by the windows, but there's no center one. So I thought that was pretty cool that Dodge even thought about the third row passengers to even utilize it like that. Another thing that I thought was really legendary about this SUV that I absolutely like is the trunk space. Even with the third row seats up, it's pretty good for a third row SUV. I've seen worse. But if you lay down the third row by pulling the handle, you literally got so much trunk space, it's insane. And under the floorboards, you got even more storage space. But get this, if you lay down the second and third row seats, you can literally fit your boy back there at 6'10". I can lay back there comfortably. Because you know, my wife and I, we're always taking road trips. So you know I'm always paying attention to the practicality in which you could take a road trip on, whether it's an SUV or car. And this one is more than road trippable. Check that box, because it's a done deezy, faux sheezy. So my next thing that I really like is definitely not a like. In fact, it's a love. And it's this Harman Kardon sound system. You can't tell me nothing about a Harman Kardon sound system. It has the right clarity, and the bass is always off the chart and consistent. You're not gonna blow a speaker listening to the Harman Kardon sound system while having the bass fully mooked out. I love the Harman Kardon sound system. You can't talk to me about the Harman Kardon sound system. I don't want to hear nothing about the Harman Kardon sound system. We fighting over the Harman Kardon sound system, all right? You get the point. I love the Harman Kardon sound system. This whole list just might be a love list. It's not even a like list, it's a love list, because this is another love of mine. That supercharger whine. I don't think there's a better supercharger wide than what comes on the Hellcat from the factory. My first dislike is gonna have to be that those second row seats cannot slide forward or backwards. And I touched on that when I talked about the things I love about the third row. If you're a second row passenger and you're tall like me, that sucks. This thing right here is unacceptable. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I should have an option in the third row SUV to have a regular rear view camera and a live rear view camera. There's cars that cost a fraction of this price and third row SUVs that have the option to have a rare live view camera and a regular one. Because let's be real, if you got this SUV for what it was made for outside the performance, it's practicality, right? Let's be real. So there's gonna be times where you're hauling a lot of stuff. You probably got your second row and third row seats laid down and you got boxes and all sorts of stuff back here and you can't see out that regular rear view camera. Well, what are you supposed to do in that case? And when's if you're hauling and towing something in that too? Because a lot of people tow and haul with their Durango and they can't see out the back. If there's stuff in here and they can't see out their rear view, that live view camera would help a lot with that. So I just had to give that a dislike for sure. For a third row SUV is crazy. Now this next one is definitely not a dislike. This is a hate. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I hate these pissy yellow light bulbs in this SUV. In 2025, there's no way we should have pissy yellow lights. It's in their sun visors. It's on the top of the roof. I mean, even the second row and third row lights are pissy yellow snowballs. It's crazy. In 2025, we couldn't get no regular LED white light bulbs, Dodge. Come on, man, that's crazy work. My next dislike is gonna have to be that rear glass back there. The fact that we can't press a button like how we did in the Escalade V to open up the rear glass, because let's be real, the Escalade V and the Hellcat Durango, they're competitors. They both got third row SUVs and they both are performance made, right? And driven, and they have the practicality, they can tow stuff. It encompasses all things SUV, right? And the performance side of it. So it's like the fact that we don't got a rear glass that can open for easier access capability to store stuff in your trunk like how the Escalade V does have. Come on, we gotta do better with that, Dodge. You know what I'm saying? I don't wanna have to open up that big ass tailgate every single time just to throw something in the trunk. So one thing that I always loved about the Jeep Trackhawks was the fact that you get the panoramic glass roof. Whereas in the Durango, you only could get a regular sunroof and you have to open and close that joint manually all by yourself, like the good old, back in the old, good old days type. You know what I mean? Like I don't like that. And for this roof to be so big on the Durango, it just makes the sunroof look like pocket change in comparison to the Jeep Trackhawk's roof. So, and the Jeep Trackhawk has always been aesthetically a better looking SUV on the outside to me as well. But at the same time, like it don't got the third row. So, I mean, but if the Jeep Trackhawk had a third row, whoo! I don't think nobody buy the Hellcat Durango. Drop some comments below. Am I tripping? Now this might be a hate too, but dislike, maybe somewhere in the middle. The fact that those two back windows in the second row can't roll down or up automatically is a loss in my opinion. I know it might be for safety for kids and different things like that, but I don't care from a consumer standpoint. Every window in this SUV should be able to go up or down automatically. In addition to that, that back window doesn't even go all the way down flush into the door panel. It literally is just a little bit sticking right out the door panel. I just couldn't understand, why couldn't y'all make the rest of that just go into the door panel, man? You know that was, come on, we got to do better. And lastly, there is not one charging port back there in the third row. For it to be as practical as it is, for there not to be one charger made for the third row in the third row bothers me. But there is chargers in the second row armrest, which you can flip open, do a front flip and utilize those chargers in there. And the trunk is so close to the third row that you could also use the 12-volt charger within the trunk. I just wish they were by the cup holders and in the seating arrangement in the third row, so it'd be specific to the third row, like how it is in the Escalade or like how it is in the Grand Wagoneer L, which I also did a review on. Make sure you check that out. That was a historical third row SUV. That was one of my favorites of 2024 now. It's a legendary one. And this one is not competing with it as far as the luxury amenities that's going on in the third row. But then again, you also didn't get the performance that the Grand Wagoneer L has. So I guess you got to pick your poison. So that's it. That's all, y'all. That's everything your boy Guitar Guy got to talk about with the Hellcat 4Sheezy, my kneesy, man. I hope y'all loved it, man. If you love this, man, give it a fat thumbs up, man, because I love y'all and I hope that y'all love Barrett's Automotive. So make sure y'all click the link below in the description and get your product so your car can be sitting just as clean as the Hellcat does with the Barrett's Automotive products. We got everything y'all could want or need in that thing, man. And if we don't got it, it's coming real soon. But until it gets there, Make sure you support the campaign by getting the products that we got there right now, and check out the website, check out everything, man. I would greatly appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all very much. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you're new coming back to the channel, welcome back, baby. Subscribe again. We'd greatly appreciate it, man. And stay tuned for the next video because it's coming real soon. You dig?